Pigweed here. Today we review a cream ale and discuss, is psychiatry helping?
Hey, good evening. How's it going?
Well, it's going all right.
All right. How about some beer and conversation?
That's not a terrible idea. What are we drinking?
This is a holiday cream ale.
All right.
All right.
Sounds pretty
Very
good.
So, what's on your mind?
I guess everybody's crazy.
Yeah.
Apparently, the numbers are what they're telling me.
Crazy.
Yes. That, yes, the United States is facing a significant mental health crisis that affects individuals of all ages. I'm being told that, and I'm wondering, is it narcissism? Is it massive self-diagnosis?
Yeah.
Have we just expanded what mental health crisis means now that it's down to, I'm just feeling a little grumpy?
Yeah.
Or do we have an actual mental health crisis? Where did it come from? And who do we have
To fix it. Okay.
How about
All
this?
right. That's a lot to think about.
Yeah,
But before I think about something like that, I want to think about stocking stuffer.
Okay.
Spiced cream ale with cherries and cranberries.
Ah.
So this is from 1623 brewery up the road a little ways.
All right.
And the first, I've had this before, and the first time I tried it, I did not like it.
Right.
And then the second time I tried it, I thought, well, I like it a little better. So I don't know if it was my mood or who I was with or what, but
I'm getting. So I wouldn't have noticed exactly cherries and cranberries, but once you put the idea in my head, there are some fruity flavors going on.
There are, yeah. There's a tartness there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I think of a cream ale, I think of a very mild ale.
Yeah.
And this is not mild because it's got those cherries and cranberries kind of jump out at you. So it's not mild, but it
doesn't.
good.
It's not cream. Make me think of a creamy taste on the back end there, like a mouthfeel. No, it's not really.
Too much tartness with that. So. It's a reasonable holiday ale.
Yeah, it is nice.
But I'm not sure cream ale is the right approach here. Yeah,
I agree.
I think if you call it something else, call it a spiced holiday ale. Don't call it a cream ale because that's not right.
But I'm liking it.
Yeah,
It's even got a sort of a red cherry and cranberry.
It does.
Tint.
It does have a bit of a reddish tint.
A little bit of a tinge.
Yeah. All right. So psychiatry. I back one of my foolish things I did in my life was I worked for the American Psychological Association.
Right.
And while I was there, they had a big library, and I borrowed a book about the history of psychiatry.
Yeah.
And it was horrifying.
Yes. Well, so let's just say every culture throughout all of time has had its share of crazies.
Yes.
And nobody has really known what to do with them. In the Middle Ages,
Locked them in the attic. Yeah.
Well, in the Middle Ages, it was like humors.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of you need to get rid of these bad. It was a physical thing. It was not a mental thing. It was a physical thing. You need to get rid of. So we had induced vomiting, induced diarrhea, and bloodletting.
Yeah.
None of that sounds like it's a great approach.
Might be better than some of the things we do today, but you're right. It doesn't sound good.
So and then it was just like a lot of locking people away, and then
we decided
we'd
talk them into
so
sanity,
then so then psychotherapy comes along, and Freud and all those cats are like, look, it's all from childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And
if we can just talk you through that. Yeah.
And there's definitely something to that, but it's not going to address schizophrenia and manic depression.
Right. There are obvious problems that people have that are not just a question you can talk them out of.
Right. Yeah. And so then in the middle of the 20th century, we had some other approach. Lobotomies were really big. In fact,
electroshock. Yeah.
But electroshock, there's actually some benefit to that. It's still going on today, but I'll get to that later. But the psychotherapy. It's sort of like we found psychoactive drugs, and we're like, okay, now we've got a new thing. So psychology is talk stuff. Psychiatry consider themselves to be medical professionals, and that they can prescribe.
And it sort of fits in with the timeline, because we, at that time, like the 50s, 60s, 70s, we basically thought everything had a scientific answer to it, you know? So, like, here's this crazy thing we've been suffering. Humanity's been suffering with this for thousands of years. We have a technological, medical, chemical answer to it.
Better living through chemistry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So that fits in a way with the spirit of the times, that we could fix this problem by just giving somebody the right medicine.
Right. And we're seeing some results that we had not seen before, in terms of, like, schizophrenics.
Yeah.
What? Before we used I'm not sure what drugs that they developed, but before that, there was nothing you did.
Yeah.
You just had to deal with it.
Just put them in an insane asylum.
Yeah, that's about all you could do. So it seems so promising that that drugs would be the answer. That this psychiatry was just like, I know what it is. They came up with the term not brain chemistry. What am I thinking?
Chemical imbalance.
Chemical imbalance.
The reason you're depressed is because there's a chemical imbalance in your brain.
Right. So when you get your blood work done,
right,
and it tells you, like, this is where we'd like to see your
cholesterol,
your cholesterol and your blood pressure.
Yeah,
like
your magnesium.
This is your range here, and this is where you are. You're above or below, and
your vitamin B should be up here, and it's not there. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
That actually makes sense.
That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So they tried to medicalize the brain.
Yes.
Into thinking, well, it's the same kind of thing.
That's right, and it's completely not. And that was like one of the huge fails of psychiatry. Is they told us this ridiculous lie that depression was a result of some chemical imbalance related to serotonin.
Yes.
And there was no evidence to support that then. There's never been any evidence to support that. It was a complete lie from beginning to end.
But
they got away with it for decades.
Well, you get away with it. It's making it sound sciencey.
Yeah.
But you got confirmation from takers. Do you feel better? You know what? Kind of do.
Yeah.
I kind of do. So then, I see. So we've got your serotonin level where it needs to be, but there are that they say serotonin levels respond to things like exercise and sunshine and spending
having friends.
Having friends. Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start there.
Yeah.
And then if you've got basically if you sort of objectively even recognize, like, I don't know why I'm not happier, because I have a great family and a satisfying job, and but I don't know. Maybe you can get yourself to a place where.
So imagine you're a psychiatrist and you've got 7 minutes to spend with a patient. As a patient comes in and you're supposed to hear their story, so they're going to talk for some amount of this time to tell you what the situation is, and the entire time you have with them is 7 minutes, because you've got to meet these schedules that the
insurance
company has set. And so they tell you blah, 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 blah. And then you have two options. One option is to say, are you exercising? Are you eating right? Are you sleeping okay? Do you have friends? Are you going outside? Is getting sunshine? Like,
tell me about your relationships with your friends and your family.
Right. Yeah, tell me about
parents.
your relationship with your mother, with your kids, with your whatever. So, that takes time.
Yeah.
But it's so much easier to say, okay, here's a prescription.
Yes.
Take
so
this.
The system is incentivized.
Absolutely.
But also, speaking of incentivized, we've also glamorized.
Oh my gosh.
Having a diagnosis.
That's right.
And so where it was one thing, you know what? People always act like shame is a bad thing. I kind of like shame. Like, you're slut shaming her. You mean because she's a slut?
Right.
There's some shaming going on here. Like there's shaming. Like, if you shame somebody, you should be ashamed of shaming somebody.
You should be ashamed. That's right. There is a good role for shame. right.
So anyway, back to the like when you were like didn't want to be have a diagnosis, and people are like, yeah, but see that prevents people from getting help, and
Yeah.
okay, I get that. Now it's cool.
Everybody wants to have a diagnosis. I mean, think of our show about the education system. In colleges where 40% of the students have some disability. You know, I mean, we've completely turned all this on its head, where having some sort of a condition that you require medication for is almost like a badge of honor, which is, I mean, no, I don't. Some people have problems that need to be dealt with, and I completely sympathize. I get that. But we've medicalized this to the point where somebody's gone through a tragedy. You know, they lost a loved one, they lost their job, they have, you know, like there's something that completely explains why they're depressed.
You're going to drug them out of it?
Exactly. And now
like,
you're
just
gonna...
like, you just need to be some compassion. Like,
right.
Yes, my wife left me. I lost the kids.
Yeah.
I was so depressed I lost my job.
Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of bad.
And I don't have enough money to pay for rent next month. Oh, okay, here's some pills. Right. You know, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're dealing with now. And it's really sick. Because, you know, I'm not trying to say that you know, reforming your life is going to solve everybody's problem, because some people have serious mental issues. They have actual medical problems, and I get that. But what we've done is maybe there's a small percentage.
Has gone too far in
there's a small percentage of people who have these serious medical issues where maybe they need drugs, maybe they need whatever. But what we've done is we've medicalized everything. Like, okay, I lost,
being bummed.
Yeah, I was in this chess championship and I lost, and I feel really bummed. Okay, here's some pills. And the pills, what are they going to do? They're going to get you addicted. They're going to cause all kinds of other problems. They're not. You know, this is not.
We don't even know because the apparently they only do 1-year studies.
Yeah.
And these things
we don't know long-term
lifelong.
Effects, right? Yeah. And
dependencies,
and it's hard to get off of them. I mean, there's all kinds of problems.
And they you know, like all drugs, they lose their effectiveness.
That's right.
You know, the body pushes back.
Yeah.
And so now you have to create a new concoction.
Right.
Here, try this at 10 milligrams. If that don't feel better, we'll come back next month
and
I'll give you 25 milligrams.
That's right.
Do you know what these combinations of no, this is all just self-reported. Like, let me know. Do you feel better? You don't feel better? This doesn't seem like a healthy
it's
approach.
It's not scientific. It's not healthy. It's really kind of horrible. And a lot of these diagnoses are just labels. Like you were saying before, if I have a vitamin B deficiency, they can take my blood and they can find out that I have a vitamin B deficiency. Right. Nobody can take your blood and find out that you're manic depressive. Right. Or that you have schizophrenia or something like that. They can't scan your brain.
How about your lithium level?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not like your body is supposed to have a certain lithium level in there. And no, I understand that. Like if I have a headache, it's not because my body is short on acetaminophen. You know,
right?
I mean, so there are drugs that you take that solve the problem independent of like saying that your body is deficient in something. I totally get that, but a lot of these illnesses, you can't tie it to blood work. You can't tie it to a scan. You can't say, look, this region of your brain has this lesion on it or anything like that. It's just a collection of symptoms that you're then trying to treat with these drug interventions that are supposed to solve it, which don't solve it. All they do is mask the symptoms.
It sounds like a very, to me, a very unsatisfying discipline to go into. It's just that you're never, like physics, like you put a certain amount of rocket fuel in here and it's going to send that thing a certain distance. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's sort of satisfying in the understanding of what is going to result. And in psychiatry, its history is terrible on the one hand.
Yeah, the history is terrible.
And just very recent that we've been able to intervene with drugs.
Yeah.
without really knowing their effects.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much influence on by pharmaceutical companies,
Right.
and you have academia swaying your approach. I don't know how. And you're not seeing any real results.
Well, so the drugs that are given to people are not designed as a cure, right? Like there are some things you have a problem, and you take a medicine that's designed to cure the situation that you have.
Right, an antibiotic gets rid of the bacteria,
Exactly.
and you're dead.
Yes, exactly. But psychoactive drugs are not to cure the underlying problem. They're to mask the symptoms.
Right.
And that's a very different thing. And another thing that's very disheartening about this whole situation is you have these pharma companies that what they want is more people taking their drugs. You know, they have a profit motive in giving these drugs out. And if you're the CEO of some big pharma company, what you're interested in is, how do I get more people to take this drug?
Right. So you're saying, do we have a psychiatric industrial complex?
Yes.
At work?
Yeah, we absolutely do.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to, like, repair the guy's car, or just fix it enough that he has to come back for more repairs once a week?
Right.
Right. So solving that, there's an incentive to create a lifetime of therapy.
Absolutely.
And even if you have the greatest intent, going in as an undergrad or whatever, I'm going to save people's lives.
Yeah.
Well, you just get caught up in the complex, and eventually you just realize, first off, it's very difficult to actually cure a person.
Yeah.
And it's very profitable to, maintain a person.
Yes. Yeah, it is, because you're trying to create somebody who's going to be taking your drug, buying your product forever. I mean, I'm in publishing, and what you want is a lifetime subscriber.
Right.
You want somebody who's going to be buying your product their entire life.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what psychiatry is trying to do. Is we're going to give you this drug, and you're going to have to take this for the rest of your life. And if after a while it's not working so well, we'll just shift you to another drug, and then we'll add this other drug, and we'll mix all these things together. So you are a lifetime patient.
Yeah, it's not.
We're not trying to solve anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing there may be situations where that is the right approach, but there are so many situations where the right approach is, why don't you go jogging? Why don't you, join a bowling league? Why don't you go to church? Why don't you reconcile with your mother? Something like that, where the problem has another solution that has nothing to do with taking drugs.
Yes. What if? So, in terms of the narcissistic self-absorption portion of the equation, like that this culture of where we're having a diagnosis is romanticized,
Right.
and it's cool.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Right.
But what if you recognize if you look outward from yourself,
Yeah.
and you say, can you recognize that you most likely live in the best place at the best time in all of human history?
Right.
Right? There's less war and famine and disease.
Yeah.
There's more, like the poorest person has indoor plumbing and heating.
I get clean water very easily.
Clean
That's right.
water comes to you.
Yeah.
There's more freedom, more justice, more opportunities than any time in human history.
Right.
How can we have
Why are
highest
we more
levels
depressed?
of depression? And let me propose something.
Okay.
Because we have lived so long with those other conditions, that what I'm talking about now is so recent and so rare in the history of mankind,
Right.
that maybe the natural state is to suffer, to appeal to God for mercy, and be grateful for the times that you are not miserable.
Right.
And so when life is good, like we have it right now,
Yeah.
we forget about God, we turn inward and complain that our lives should be better than they are.
Well, there is. I mean, the standard. There's a standard story in literature and in movies of the spoiled rich kid,
Right.
who is miserable.
Right.
You know, he's always had everything, and he's miserable, and he's a drug addict, and he's like useless. You know, because he has too much. He's never suffered. Right. He's never had to work, and that's sort of like our culture as a whole.
When you see a documentary of people basically living in a trash heap in Bangladesh,
Right?
Don't you just wonder to yourself, how do you not kill yourself?
Yeah.
And yet you know who's killing themselves?
The rich people.
Rich kids in the suburbs.
That's right.
So what is going on there
Yeah.
in terms of what human satisfaction looks like in levels of depression culturally?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think people require a certain amount of challenge.
Yeah.
And and in a sense, they require a certain amount of suffering.
That's what I'm saying. We're built to suffer.
Yes. Yeah.
And the lack of suffering is more dangerous than the suffering, in a sense.
Yeah. If you have everything, then you have no sense of meaning, no sense of purpose. You kind of lose yourself.
I guess we're built to strive, I guess.
Yes.
And when there's no striving,
Yeah.
then we turn to.
A man's reach should exceed his grasp, else what's a heaven for?
There
right?
you go.
So there's this idea that man has to be reaching out and trying to do better and trying to improve himself. And when everything is given to you, when you're riding on daddy's yacht all the time and you have everything that you want, what are you striving for?
Yeah, I don't.
What's
That's
the
what I mean.
purpose?
No wonder that So the man who builds himself from nothing
Yeah.
and creates a business, his son watched him do that, and he appreciates that, and he follows in his daddy's footsteps to maintain the business or whatever. Then his kid comes along,
Right.
who grew up rich
Yeah.
after all of the work of his dad and his granddad.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He pisses the money away. He ruins the business.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like he should go. I don't want to be in the shoe making business. I want to explore I want to, I want to surf and see the world, or whatever.
Right.
And screws it all up.
Yes.
That's why the
That's
financial empires don't last long.
That's certainly an aspect of it, is that we are so prosperous that a lot of mental illnesses just seem to come with that. When you're struggling to put bread on the table, you're really not worrying about your depression,
Yeah, you got time for that.
No, I don't have time for that kind of crap. So I went through this list. I watched this video of this guy who was very critical of psychiatry, and he had a whole bunch of different things.
A psychiatrist himself.
A psychiatrist himself, yes. Medication isn't a cure. All it does is manage. Drugs cause tolerance. In other words, once you start taking these drugs, your body, as you said before, your body reacts. And drugs can worsen you long term. Long-term users of meds are basically guinea pigs. We don't really know what the long-term consequences are. That you're prescribed this medication without being told that getting off of it is going to be very hard, which is often true. Withdrawal can cause protracted problems in your life. There's also this is an interesting one, and this is controversial. I realize a lot of people have different opinions about this, but apparently cannabis can trigger bipolarity and schizophrenia.
Yeah. I think the pendulum on weed is already swung too far. We've gone from reefer madness to tolerating to
Celebrating.
celebrating,
Yeah.
and
I think we need to step back a little bit and think about that. Psychiatric research has been corrupted by the profit motive. That you have these big pharma firms that pay for everything and you get into this environment where if you don't play their game, you're not gonna advance in your career. So pharmaceuticals have co-opted academics, so the studies and everything else.
Right. I mean, right, because you to further your career in academia, you need financing.
Right.
You need grant money, and that's coming from the pharmaceutical industry.
We've already talked about the overprescription problem.
Right.
Somebody comes in, and instead of saying, "Why don't you get out and exercise?" we just give them some pills. Psychiatric drugs can trigger other problems like mania, psychosis, aggression, that sort of thing. And there's a sort of a diagnostic instability. People cycle through diagnoses over time. You start off being this, and then later on you're this other thing, and then you take this different cocktail of drugs. So, and then the last thing I want to point out is the medicalization of normal distress, which is what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Somebody you broke up with your girlfriend and you lost your job and now the solution is to take some drugs? No, that's not the solution.
Yes. Life is hard and it's sad, and feeling that is the kind of thing that makes you question, how did I get here?
Yeah.
How can I change how can I change my ways? What needs to happen? Not so my serotonin levels are off.
Right. Exactly. Which if it was possible, like if I could take your blood and say,
right.
yeah, your serotonin levels are low, we need to, okay, fine. That would be scientific.
Yeah.
But that was a complete lie. That kind of gets me into the big failures of psychiatry. That's one of them. The whole chemical imbalance narrative was a complete lie. The approach to the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, is that right? Yeah. It was supposed to be a descriptive manual, just saying this is what we're seeing. But it came to be regarded as like an oracle. This is treated as the truth. We also have the problem of sort of the exploitation of childhood problems like ADHD.
I see. Medicalizing like normal.
Yeah, being a boy.
Being a boy. What we used to call that boy's got ants in his pants.
Yeah.
He's just a little ant. He can't sit down and stare at the chalkboard very well.
So when I was a boy, I remember one time, I don't know what was going on, but my dad said, "I want you to run around the block."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, if you're too antsy or whatever, you run around the block, and that's going to calm you down.
Yeah, and that's what, they're cutting down on gym time. They're cutting down on recess.
Yes.
Because girls don't really care. And you know what? Boys, get out there, run around, wrestle each other.
Yes.
And
boys, if I was designing a school, martial arts would be part of it.
Yeah.
Like exercise would be part of it. You would be doing active physical things. But to get your blood going, to get rid of your ants in the pants kind of problems, we don't do that. It's like we want everybody to sit quietly like a good little girl, and if they don't do that, then we give them drugs to make sure that they do.
Exactly. We have, women have taken over childhood education.
Yeah.
We have feminized, boys. Yeah. And when boys can't sit still, then they get diagnosed, and now you've got kids. Who's giving 5 and 6-year-olds medication?
I know. Isn't that horrible?
What's wrong with you idiots?
Did you see that video?
As I say that while parents are transitioning their 4-year-olds. So maybe,
good grief. Yeah. So
women are anyway.
Who's Tom Cruise? That's the guy. Did you see the video of Tom Cruise talking to some reporter? Matt Lauer. Yes. Did you see that?
Blowing him up.
Oh my gosh!
This was 20 years ago.
I know. And Tom Cruise, he's a Scientologist weirdo. Okay.
Right. But Scientology is very anti-psychiatry.
It is.
But not, and it doesn't mean that they're wrong.
It doesn't mean they're wrong.
Because Scientology is a little kooky.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that they're
not.
And
he tore up Matt Lauer.
Matt, you don't even know what you're talking about.
I know.
You don't even know what you're saying. He would not give Matt. He goes, well, let's agree that in some cases, Matt, you don't even know what you're saying. I have studied this.
Right.
Yeah. Really, he just laid
You're,
in.
you're giving kids Ritalin. Do you know what Ritalin is? Do you understand?
Well,
what that-
I'm just saying that in some cases, and he was just not having it.
No,
he wasn't.
wasn't having any of it. It's actually a fascinating
Yeah.
video. But the criticism there is valid, which is that we've medicalized things. We've acted as if the solution to everything is to give somebody a pill.
Yeah.
And that's not right. Like sometimes the solution might be, why don't you get 8 hours of sleep every night? How about that?
Hit the gym, get some sunshine,
Right.
take a walk in the woods.
And
walk
that's
with your
not going to
dog.
solve. There are certain people who have serious medical problems. There are people who have serious medical issues, mental issues. I understand that. And getting better sleep and walking the dog and waking up and seeing the sunshine is not going to cure those people. I get that. But like 90% of the people that we're giving all these drugs to today, that is the right solution.
Can I give you the Matt Walsh take on
Okay.
talk
Sure.
therapy?
Yes. Let's
He says, he says, as a general rule, men should not go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Most therapists are liberal women who couldn't possibly have any useful advice to give them. Most people go to therapy are also women. That's because sitting around and talking about your feelings is inherently feminine. Men don't solve their problems that way.
No.
Somebody responds, bah, 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 and he says, as I've said before, therapy could only even potentially be useful for a man if the therapist is a man older than him.
Okay.
Yes, there are almost no straight male therapists over the age of 50 in the industry. It's all women in their 30s and 40s with degrees in social work and dysfunctional personal lives. A grown man would be better off seeking life advice from any random dude at the hardware store.
that would be worth a test. You know, it'd be interesting to go to like Home Depot.
Yeah,
and like
just be
go up
like,
to some guy and say,
I'm having trouble.
I'm
at
having
home."
trouble sleeping. Are you hitting the gym? Well, no.
Yeah. You ever tried chopping wood? You know, that's not a bad
That's
idea.
not a bad idea. Yeah, and that is what was it? The Crocodile Dundee,
Okay.
where he was talking about, you know, people talking to their mates at the bar. Do you remember that scene?
No.
Oh, yeah. He was just basically saying he was in New York with some girl,
Right.
and she was talking about this psychiatrist and all that, and he used to say, "Yeah, we just talk to our mates and resolve things that way."
Yeah.
And there's once again, I want to be very clear. Obviously, there are some people who have serious conditions that need to be addressed in a medical. I get that. You know, some people need a medical intervention. I totally get that. But we have so overprescribed and over-medicalized this thing that we have people who all they really need is to start running or something.
Yes. And stop and stop incentivizing, stop romanticizing,
Yes.
and stop medicalizing
Yes.
everybody who's a little bit uncomfortable in their lives. Can I let me get to before we close out here
Mm-hmm.
the extreme cases that you're talking about. How many of our homeless people just have
Yeah.
a serious problem, and how? So what is the legacy of the Ronald Reagan? You know,
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan. You know, the great conservatives of who rescued the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Thought, and I think, not in a bad way, that families need to be responsible for their. Wasn't that the motivation that of saying, look, we don't need all of these asylums.
Yeah.
Now, were a lot of people medically forcibly committed?
Yeah, we've gone from too far one way to too far the other way. So when my dad was a kid,
Yeah.
in his generation, if somebody was a bother, you could go to the doctor and you could get them involuntarily committed, and they were subjected to all kinds of horrible treatments. And you know, I know some people where that kind of thing happened, and it was too far the wrong direction,
Right.
where somebody was inconvenient and you put them away. just to get them out of the way.
And it didn't take that much to get them.
It didn't take that much to get them put away. We've gone way too far the other way, where now somebody has to be a threat to themselves or others, and that standard is so high.
Yeah, so there has to be like some blood on the ground. Like somebody has to be seriously injured.
Right. So I mean, I personally know situations where you have people who have serious problems, alcoholic problems, drug addiction problems, that kind of thing, and you can't get them committed because everything has gone so far in the other direction that we won't commit somebody who has a serious problem.
You can only give them 72 hours or something
exactly.
like that.
And who can't pull it together for 72 hours? There are way too many people who have serious alcohol problems, serious drug problems.
Or if they're institutionalized, you can make sure that they're taking their meds all the time.
Yeah.
You can get somebody, you give them their meds, they're perfectly fine. You put them back on the street with the bottle of pills in
and
their
they don't
pocket.
take it. Right.
There's nobody in charge anymore.
And also a lot of these things are cyclical. Like, so you can be fine for 3, 4, 5 days, and then you go into... So it's a really bad situation now.
I don't know the answer, because I tend to be on the side of personal autonomy over the state having control over you.
Yes.
But to what degree is society suffering from having these large populations of crazy homeless people?
Yes. And personally, one of my big fears is this idea of being forcibly given drugs to change my mood, my behavior, the way I think. That's a nightmare.
Political persuasion.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a nightmare to me. I mean, like,
I know.
That whole concept just frightens me.
Yeah. No, but straight out of dystopian science fiction.
So I completely understand why people don't want that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I used to work in downtown DC, and I walked by crazy people every single day,
shouting at a mailbox.
Exactly.
What are you going to do?
Boxing nobody in there. These people needed help, and they needed to be committed.
But do we have to wait till somebody is seriously injured?
Right.
Kind of do.
Yeah.
And now you're not going to get anybody committed until there's, like I said.
So we haven't figured out the right balance between these two things.
That's
difficult.
You never do.
Yeah.
Anyway, psychiatry, you guys
suck.
Got a lot of work to do, and I don't know the answer, but I think that this idea that we're probably over medicalizing people who just need help. We're under medicalizing crazy people in the streets.
Right.
And
for a lot of people, the solution is get some exercise, get some sleep, have some friends, get outside.
Right.
Like, that would solve maybe 80%.
All right, let's try that.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.